Hey, good afternoon, guys. Hope you're having a great Sunday evening. Good to have you guys in. Thanks for tuning in. And push a 1 in the chat if you are down to do a giveaway with me. 1's in the chat. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. But the reason I want to do a giveaway is not as a gimmick, but as good karma to give back to the community, because I've had one of the greatest months. Rank 13 currently on the leaderboards at Breakout. Just on Breakout alone, I'm up over 30 racks just this month. And on the Bybit account, I'm up just about the same. So, you know, I helped my brother. I want to help. I'm here to help. And so there's one person I have in mind. It's this gentleman, Anthony. He reached out to me earlier in the week, showing me his trading results. I liked what I saw. I liked that his wins were bigger than his losses here. I liked his short trade duration and his win rate. That was a workable win rate. And so, Anthony, if you're in here, you're the first winner of the 50K giveaway. And that's what this giveaway is going to be. I'm not just going to be giving you guys crypto for you to do whatever you want. I'm going to give you this $500 because I want to see you try to learn a new skill on Breakout. So technically you can do whatever you want with this crypto, but if you want to honor me, the flopping groper, then get yourself a 50K or get yourself a couple of 10Ks or something, wherever you're at in your career. I know size, trade size can really affect your emotion. So if you're a trader who is used to trading this much, then get challenges of this size. Do whatever you want to do with the 500, but it's going to be a $500 giveaway, and it's very, very easy. Just get out your phone right now, guys. Go on your Instagram. Go to Nick Cypher and find the Studio Ghibli picture of me in my suit. And I just want you guys to hit the like button and drop a comment. Just say one thing that I taught you in the last 2 years of YouTubing, or maybe in the whole lifetime of being a flopping groper. Just tell me one thing. Tell everyone one thing that the flopping groper taught you. And I'll pick a winner. I'll pick a couple winners. But our boy Anthony showed he was grinding on the breakout accounts, and those are the people that I want to help the most. If you have been trading breakout accounts in the Discord, open a ticket here with the proof that you've been getting under me on the breakout using my code, proof of your efforts, and I'll check these tickets as well before the stream is over. And we'll see how many that I'll give out. But so in terms of the charts, guys, you know, I was definitely suspicious of the Friday low, the current weekly low. And so coming out the gate of this new weekly open, that's definitely a target for longs. If we do dump here and take this weekly low, look for strength, 10-minute hike on a Shi, and that would be a nice long back up to the previous week to date, or potentially even the quarterly VWAP. Now, I was very confident in this eventual setup, and so me and a couple guys in the VIP took a short at this 5-day SMA here. Now, currently we are getting squeezed a little bit. So it's pumping up out of a declining 5MA. Personally, on the breakout account, you guys might see me have to scale out of these positions live on stream here, just because my entries aren't as good. I took smaller trades initially and then got baited into... I got baited into full Kelly, guys. Not gonna lie. I kind of flopped and groped. So right now, getting a little bit squeezed, but I do have hope in the 786. But if this 786 breaches here, I'm going to have to take the L on stream here. But my reasoning was, you know, in a larger 5-day downtrend, typically the best entries back up to this last week's VWAP would be down lower. You know, at least at something like this or something like this, if not the weekly low. And a lot of weeks this does happen, and it is a really great trade, not only from there but on the way to there. So, you know, if these shorts get stopped out, it's okay. Right now though, we're at that line in the sand. If this 786 can't hold, then I'm gonna just start selling this. And I'll have to kind of reassess the chart. Potentially eyeballing an eventual trade, you know, back up at the weekly high. That's something that could be possible as a quick, instantaneous kind of leapfrog up here. And later in the week, potentially retesting the Q4 VWAP, potentially taking that weekly high. which potentially could be a short there as well. So, you know, the trend is your friend until the end, right? And so shorting this 5-day SMA has been great, especially on Fartcoin. Fartcoin's been great. It was coming down, giving great shorts there last week. And then the death wick fell off the block, pulling that slope up artificially. But then a new 5-day downtrend emerged. And so that made us somewhat bearish off this interaction here. So I'm really curious to see, like, is this really the point where the 5-day trend begins to repair? And do we get this like instantaneous type of leapfrog move? That's kind of where I'm at. So right now we're in the middle of a move that so it's an important decision time here. We're at my 786. I really don't want to hold this all the way to the high up here. So, you know, if this 786 level doesn't hold, I got to get out of my shorts, cut my losses, and all that stuff. Let's check these comments on Instagram. Let's see what people have been saying. Ooh, let's go. Willem says, you made trading so much simpler with the anchored VWAP, such a game changer and new perspective. The future says, I learned. I shouldn't have stopped doing push-ups after BTC hit 100K. Me too, man. I've lost about 700K the last year, but recently made a comeback. Never traded using VWAP. But you were a breath of fresh air on not being too emotional. Wow, man. You know, it's crazy, the losses that we face in trading. I'm not sure what your initial stake was. I'm not sure if that was your initial stake that you started trading with, or if that was the big red number that you were left with. But, you know, instead of thinking of it as 700K, think of it as the 50K you started with that you exploded into that, you know? What matters more is that you got that far in the first place and that you believe, man. So don't think of that big red number, man. Think of the initial. Work off that initial investment and you're back and you have another shot. And you know, you were doing the right thing. You should have just taken profits. Like if you blew up your account up to almost 1 million, you should have probably taken 600,000 of this off the table and then proven all over again that you could do the same thing with 100. Just my advice, just my wisdom from going through that very, you know, you're in 6-digit hell, you know? This guy was in 6-digit hell. It's like being silver elo in League of Legends. You really want to get out of there, but it actually takes proving yourself right and your strategy right a number of times before you naturally break that $1 million threshold. This guy says, I learned about using the anchored VWAP. Yay. The flopping Groper taught me to learn about anchored VWAPs and how to use them to make logical trades. He taught me about the loss of the plus 50, minus 50 line on Market Cipher. Every day I'm learning, but you've taught me more about VWAPs than I was doing before I purchased Leapfrog. I was just using basic deviation VWAPs for local SR. I never thought to scale out and look at the bigger picture. Macro VWAPs are making me more aware and patient of price action. I've been afraid to try Breakout because it's new. A new style of trading for me, but I think I'll look into getting funded. Much love. Man, that's such a nice comment. Right now, Bitcoin still giving me hope here. What's going on here? Ugh, man. See, I would love to like add here, but I've already been baited into full Kelly. I made a mistake. I put 2 big Bitcoin orders down here, which could be a failed mistake on my end, an execution mistake. Even if my idea does play out, you can see how I got squeezed. And if my size was not, if I was using the whole account, you know, that would have been it. Definitely flopping and groping here. Definitely in the red on 2 accounts. This is a little freaky. Basically, we know this is the moment of decision where I got to decide, do I got to cut it, admit that I'm an idiot, regardless of whether my idea plays out. But so far, the 786 is holding. I do have the declining 5MA, so like I said, the trend is my friend until the end. It's okay. It has been an amazing month. I'm at peace with all outcomes. My payouts have been crazy. Total payouts, almost 50K. I'm about to be at 50K here. Chase Hughes, tenacity, balls, honor. Kara Kennedy says, the man who masters candle chart also masters the path of life. Same discipline, same focus, process over outcome. Thank you, Kara. Crypto Coon says, Nick has taught me how to be patient and squash pencil necks. Rowdy Bandicoot says, the flopping groper taught me to set my invalidation and accept losses, not to be in drawdown and denial. Staying true to my character. Flopping and groping on the 1-minute chart for you guys. Let me show you guys some orders. Let me show you guys some from my last payout. My last payout sucked too. I was not happy with how I traded it. Look what happened here. This is why it's hard for me to give you guys a signal. Because time and time again, I feel like I fail myself. And a lot of the guard rails that I have in place are what's protecting my money. It's insane. But, you know, you get stopped out 3, 4, 5 times and like, then that big one hits and it's crazy, dude. You got to size down. You really got to admit that you don't really know what's happening. You don't really know what's going on in the markets, and you're not making all the most best decisions in real time. You kind of have to account for that. Because my TA may be the best, but the reality is, look at this profitable account. The actual executions. I've been quite lazy with this. This is sloppy. But what's keeping me alive here is the wins are bigger than the losses. This other account has a little bit better of a win rate over more trades. Almost 24,000 pulled out of this account. Only a 42% win rate. And a pretty tight margin here. You know, this a lot relies on me cutting trades before they get bigger than this. And currently, I'm failing myself. I'm currently accepting losses that are too big. Calvin Jeffrey says, in the last couple years, you've taught me the importance of risk management and how trading is about preserving your capital. The anchored VWAP has also taught me about timing trades around important points in times such as the starts of weeks and months. Still working on getting comfortable with the fact that losing is a part of trading and pulling the trigger when my strategy reveals itself. That's awesome, Calvin. And I recognize all you guys from the chats, man. You guys are in here all the time with me. Alrighty. I actually really love some of these comments already, so I hope you guys are still in the chat. I hope you guys are still in the chat, because I think I'm going to pick some winners here. I do have a coupon for Breakout. I'll put it in the chat. It's 538 RTT. But if you go to empoweredtraders.com, you'll see my codes and everything. Chase Hughes, are you in the chat, man? Tough situation. Tough situation I'm faced with here. But I'm just gonna stay true to this level, this high right here on Bitcoin. Not let my emotions, even though I wrote myself into some emotional kind of trades. I should be at a half Kelly or a quarter Kelly right now. I shouldn't have gotten baited like this, but it's okay. I'll take the L if it shows insane strength over the 786. I'm willing to let it play out because there is a lot of potential downside if the weekly low gets targeted. For instance, if I were to drag this profit down, that's a lot of profit right there. And on that times 2 accounts, that shit really adds up. So I think that this still has a chance. We'll see. Chase Hughes, man. You know, we got a special partnership because we were doing those burpees together. And so definitely open up a ticket in the Discord with your USDC Ethereum Tether address. I definitely want to give you a 50K account on me because I see you working hard every day, man. Even when I stopped and gave up on push-ups, Chase Hughes kept doing those burpees and push-ups, and like he was doing them before I even started. So this guy is just as much of a motivation to me as I am to him, you know? So this is an exceptional person that we have in our group. And just know that if you think you're working hard, there's always someone out there working harder than you. There's someone out there who started doing what you're doing long before you and keeps going long after you quit. And consistency is the mark of a amazing trader. So we've got Anthony Finesca, a VIP member who's grinding on the challenges. We've got Chase Hughes, the guy who's done 1 million burpees and is still trading with me after 2 years. Who else? Who else wants to win? Calvin Jeffries, are you in the chat, brother? We got a nice comment in the actual YouTube chat. Dr. G says, FG just jumping in and out today. Props to you for the great calls and having conviction to ignore the noise and stick to your analysis. Thank you, man. It's been a great month. And I don't, it's not about getting every idea right, because on the micro, on the minute chart, you guys have seen my win rate and you see that I get it wrong time and time again. And like taking credit on the big moves is my cope for the reality of how difficult trading can be. And I don't even want you guys to think, oh, I have this crazy, I'm just right all the time. Sometimes I definitely hit it right. A lot of times you get the first move right, and that implies a reaction to that, and you keep getting it right because you're just simply on the right narrative. Like the story you're telling about the market is the right story. And that goes on and on until it stops. And unfortunately, if your risk is not in check when that streak ends, that's when you give it all back. You know? That is when you give it all back. But I told you guys how much I've made this month, and yet my trades haven't gotten any bigger. I've withdrawn plenty off this Bybit account. So, you know, there's no world where I give back what happened this month. We're basically just trading with the profits, scraping the foam off the top. Whatever happens, happens. Yeah, Chase, go ahead and drop me your USDC Ethereum tether. Getting a little bit of a fight here. Some sort of symmetrical triangle consolidation thing. If it breaks up, I might have to start scaling out. If it breaks down, that would be sick. Man, I wonder if Calvin Jeffries, man. Calvin Jeffries, are you in the chat, brother? It's all right, I'll message him later. Oh, that's you, Zoinked? What the hell? I didn't know that was you, Zoinked. What a nice kid. Look at this nice kid. Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I'm happy to give you another 50K. I know you've been going ham. You're in the VIP too, so just open a ticket with your USDC tether address. Yes, sirree. Bitcoin pumping out of declining 5MA, floating with the idea of it wanting to do like an easy weekly leap, but I've had so many weeks trading charts that look just like this. And what I learned is that you don't just want to blind long. This long here, with the stop under that and the target up there. So many weeks I've seen it stopped out. And the best whale entry up to that last week's VWAP ends up being so much lower. Sometimes it's even the weekly low. So I've had big balls wanting to short down to that long entry. There's a lot of presuppositions in my head as to why I went short at this point in the chart, but I would say if it breaks the 786, I kind of just start scaling out. Crypto cranking along. Good for you, Maine. That would be cool to get a drama-free pump up here. I don't mind getting proven wrong. It would be going against the trend. I would cast a little doubt on the pump because it's going against a fairly steep 5-day SMA downtrend. Not looking too good for your boy Groper here. Forming somewhat of an ascending triangle. Got squeezed like a rat instead of accepting smaller size, instead of being a roach. I'm a rat tonight. We're in rat mode right now. Crypto Sniper, you in the chat, brother? Oh, nice. It's Ricky Spanish. All right, man. Open a ticket. I'll give you that 50K. I knew that was you, man. I knew that was you. It looked familiar. I think I follow you on my main account. But, yeah, when it comes to plays later on in the week, the most obvious levels to play off of, especially in such a crazy large quarterly range, is definitely just the weekly range. So last week's high up here at 116, right up there at that quarterly VWAP. That's an important level. Probably a good short scalping there. And then also, if this does come down, the weekly low, expect a nice reaction off that as well. Got some big VWAPs if things start getting hairy. Leapfrog's got some big supports down below us here. A lot of major supports, 99K, 100K, super strong psychological level. And the candles would be sweeping weekly and monthly lows. That could be enough to shoot it back to the upside. I want to just have powder ready for whatever levels get hit down here, whether it's the Q4 or the Q3 from last year. Right now, though, getting squeezed. I'm gonna just get out of this. If this goes any higher here, I can't take catastrophic loss. I gotta just get out. My entry sucks. Really sucks, but the issue is not even my TA, it's just my trade size was too big. And I'll have to crawl back on this. I'll have to take 1/8 Kelly positions off of like weekly levels until I right my wrongs here. It's just messed up. Yeah, I mean, it's still what's annoying about it is the best entry down to the prime long entry would be yesterday's high, you know. So if my size was manageable, I would have had dry powder to catch this sweep of this high. But because I was greedy, now I have to pull the plug when potentially a great short entry could reveal itself. So, and I'll be so close to my daily loss limit that it's probably not worth playing. And I'll have to wait for tomorrow. Because on breakout, you can't fall under I think it's 4,000 on 100K. You can't fall under 4,000 in a single day. It's been a nice run. It's been a hell of a run. Ranking 13 on the leaderboards. I was feeling competitive. I was feeling like we would get that nice long entry at last week's low. And I felt like this short was a no-brainer. Now getting squeezed. Now it's halfway to the last week's VWAP. Yeah, it's not looking... It's looking a little weird. Probably go down as soon as I'm out. All right, awesome. I need the Ethereum USDC address, not Phantom. Man, this sucks. I shouldn't have waited this long. I should have gotten out of this shit. Bastards. I have to come out at stream time too. I have to come out and face the music. Sent the first 500 out to Zoinked. Congrats, Calvin, man. Yup. Got rinsed there, got rinsed there. Getting stopped out of this shit. I'm actually relieved. I'm relieved to be out. Get me out of here. Yup. Ah. Ah, it feels so good. Feels good not to be losing anymore. It just goes to show that the moment you stop respecting your capital, that's when bad things start happening. I had about half the account in the position. And when the market runs from you in that position, you get squeezed. So I should have been on half Kelly, you know. If I was just half Kelly, it would have been fine. I'd still be at 98K. But look, it's good that I got out of here. Look at that. Oh my gosh. So sometimes this happens. Sometimes this is the leapfrog. This is when a new week begins. We like to go back to last week's VWAP. Looks like whales are a little eager. Looks like the 5-day trend has been breached here on Bitcoin. This buys the bulls valuable time to scoop this 5-day trend into it, more of an uptrend, more sideways, more up. It might take a couple days here, but this might start scooping back up and head all the way up to the weekly high. But taking losses is okay. Because if I didn't take these losses here, this shit would have breached me. So live to trade another day, you know? And it's not even about trying to catch the next move, because if this account falls down to like 50 or 95K, then they'll take the account away from me. So, you know, I'm gonna just let the time limit run out tomorrow night. See if there's some trades tomorrow night, but this definitely was already coming to me, because you know, the way I handled last night, I was correct about this long here, and I even sold at the very top. But there was flopping and groping going on, and it was another one of those getting baited into Fool Kelly at a weird time, being at the mercy of the markets, and every little ebb and flow makes you flop and grope. It put me in that position, and I made it out okay. And I thought I could do it again. There was a potentially like a $15,000 trade on the line if that idea played out. And then also a reversal trade back to the upside. Fartcoin now taking... Dang, where's this going, man? Fartcoin's going insane. All right, what's pumping? What's pumping here? Okay, Fartcoin taking the weekly / daily high. This high right here is yesterday's high. Technically an area that you could look at if there is rejection here, since we are into 5-day declining MA. Technically, something could happen here where we go back down. This is a high time frame support and resistance, but I'm personally barred out of taking it, and I would wait for a 10-minute Heiken Ashi momentum candle reaction here. If you did want to take a trade back to the weekly low, yesterday's high would be a level of interest. Because after that, what else do you got? The weekly high? The weekly high is way up here at 47 cents. Same with Bitcoin. Taking yesterday's high as well, and the weekly high on Bitcoin is up at 116. So this is an interesting counter trend move, instantaneous weekly leap. Noobs, these types of moves train noobs to get destroyed in typical weeks. Because a typical week, you get a little bit more hunting of longs before that rally up to the previous week to date. So I would say don't expect a new week to date VWAP to do this all the time. This is a special moment. Usually if you get into a long back up to the previous week to date from this position, you're opening yourself up for all these superior long setups to come and wipe you out. So it's not really the best trade to take, even though it looks really nice. It's a nice, strong, spear-like move. There's a lot of reasons why I didn't take it. In fact, I was feeling a little cocky and betting against it. I wasn't just observing it, I was betting against it, but that was a mistake. All right, Chase Hughes. previous week to date, you know, it can be a strong dynamic resistance level. There's definitely a chance that it could reject here, but my hands are a little bit tied. And it's not really a high time frame support resistance. There's something going on later in the week that I know will represent a good opportunity, and it'll be the reaction of the weekly high or low from last week. Last week's high low. I was betting on the downside getting tagged first, but I could be wrong. I appreciate you guys leaving these nice comments, man. That makes people go to my stream and they see what's good. Crypto Crank, man, are you doing breakout? Are you saying you have 200K funding? $200K funding feels absolutely amazing. I had no business taking trades this large, you know? I was definitely... I really only need to take trades with like $10,000 of the account. Oh, got you. He's doing Klein funding. Got you. Yeah, man. The 200K, think of it this way. It's not about increasing your trade size, because increasing your trade size also increases your losses. The 200K is there to reduce your risk. It's so you can take the same trade you were taking on the 100K account and reduce that size by half and do that on 2 accounts. That's the safest way to look at it. I've coached people out of loss streaks, out of holes, big holes that they're in. And I always tell them, you know, you may start with a gamble. It may all start with a gamble. High leverage, high percent of the account, high confidence. But with each trade you take from that point, it should get less risky, not more. Which comes from taking profits off the table, or lowering your leverage, or lowering the percent position size going into the trades. Because if you keep increasing the trade size, eventually you're going to get hit with that big loss. A big reason why it has been going so good on the breakout account is because I take the profits off the top, it resets back to 100, and I keep trading. Yes, sirree. Fartcoin seeming to get a little bit of a rejection here. Let's see what's going on. Like I said, it did hit. It did hit that prior daily high. Technically an advantageous entry point. 1, 2, 3, a triple drive. Oh man. No problem, Chase. I'm happy to help, man. A couple of you guys may have noticed in the FG Discord, like you may have gotten a WAP notification, but I gave anywhere from 50 to 100 days to some of the members who've been in the VIP for like almost 2 years now. So enjoy the free days of your membership. Ricky Spanish. There you go, big dog. Man, for some reason, Chase, it keeps like giving me an error when I send the funds, but I'll work it out. I'll get those funds to you. Not executing on this short play here. Bitcoin's looking a little crazy right now. Bitcoin's probably gonna hit this previous week to date. Very strange leapfrog here, and a declining 5 MA in a bearish quarter. A lot of things are saying that you really shouldn't be too bullish yet, but there is a turning of the tides. The charts have had time to heal because the death wicks, that was 3 weeks ago now. The 5 MA trend has long forgotten that bad data, push it off the block, as well as even this fake pumpy data back here that's off the block now. So there is a real chance for this to scoop sideways and then up. And it is funny how a lot of people online were calling for Bitcoin to go to $20,000 and all this shit. We'll see. But you know, a VWAP from summer's low always catches Bitcoin. Like, it caught it back here, and back here, the actual low back in 2024 was the VWAP from last July, I'm pretty sure. Like 2023's July, boom. Last year's summer VWAP catches the bottom of the year. So the July of 2024, it's caught it already. It could catch it again. It's a very bullish level. And look at this. Actually, Bitcoin is showing some strength over its last year's Q4. This is the quarter where Trump was elected. If you get rid of Leapfrog, we are holding the VWAP from Trump's election right now. Look at that. Trump voters are keeping us, Bitcoin loving Trump voters are keeping this chart alive right now. All right, guys. We picked those giveaway winners. We covered the loss live on stream. You guys know the levels I'm working with this week, that weekly highs, weekly lows. Took a little bit of an L, but we're still standing. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream.